a fun exercise now called rolling like a ball. And this one I just have so much fun with because I kind of feel like a little kid just kind of rolling around. And it is a lot of fun, but there are a lot of things that we're accomplishing with this exercise too, so it's also super effective. Just before we get started, make sure that when you're doing this, you're using a thicker mat. What I'm using here is a 1/2 inch thick Pilates mat, and it just gives me that extra cushion that I need to be able to roll safely. If you don't have a thick mat like this, what you can potentially do is do this on carpet. Sometimes that provides enough cushion that it feels comfortable. Or what I also sometimes do is I take like one of those foam exercise mats. You can usually get them pretty cheaply, and then just like lay a yoga mat over it. But as long as you have a little bit of extra cushion, that's really what you need for this exercise. What you wouldn't want to do is spread out like a regular yoga mat that's pretty thin and try to do that on a hard floor. That's going to hurt and it's not going to be pleasant. So just again, something thicker, some padding to roll on. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the exercise itself. So rolling like a ball, the idea is that you're trying to make your spine perfectly conform to the shape of a ball. If you were to hold a ball in your hand, okay, what would that look like? How would your hand conform to the shape of that ball? And that's the shape that you want your spine to be in, so that when you roll back, you don't have to use any momentum. You don't have to really make anything happen. You just kind of let yourself fall back, and because you're shaped perfectly like a ball, you roll right back up. Okay? You can also think of it like maybe your spine is shaped like the bottom of a rocking horse or a rocking chair. That's another way to kind of visualize it. And when you push a rocking chair, what happens? You push it back, and without you having to do anything to make it come back forward, it comes back by itself just because of that rocker sort of shape that it has at the bottom. That's what we're trying to accomplish with rolling like a ball. So we want to start out seated, but not really tall. Okay, we want instead to tuck the tailbone under and create that nice round C-shaped curve. We talked before about how for a lot of people, the spine doesn't want to be in a uniform C-shaped curve. Instead, maybe the upper back will curve quite a bit, but the low back is just kind of stubborn and wants to stay pretty flat. So be extra mindful here of rounding the low back, really tucking that tailbone under. You might even want to practice the cat stretch before you do this and make sure that you're able to get some roundness in your low back. Then you want to balance just right behind your sitting bone. You'll bring your legs up and the hands can come to the shins. Make sure that the shoulders stay down here, the chin stays tucked, because it's part of the bottom of the rocking chair as well, so it should be included in that C-shaped curve. And then from there, you just let yourself kind of fall back. And again, you should be able to roll right back up because of the shape of your spine. So we'll try that a few times. At the top, you do want to take a split second to just kind of hold, make sure that, okay, I've got control here at the top before you roll back. So let's try it maybe 5 times together and just kind of see if we can get into a little flow with it. Okay, inhale, prepare. Exhale, roll back. Inhale, up and hold. 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 We'll try one more. Exhale, roll back. Inhale, up and hold. You can release down. All right, great. So I'll just point out a couple of quick things on this exercise that can be hang-ups that can make it a little bit more difficult, things that you can work on to make it even more precise. One thing is that if you have a tendency to keep flat in your low back, like maybe your upper back rounds quite a bit, but your low back is stubborn and doesn't want to do that, you'll be able to tell because your roll won't be as smooth. I call it rolling like a brick instead of rolling like a ball, all right? And so it'll look something like this. Let me see if you can tell the difference between this and what you just saw me do. Okay, you see it was more clunky, right? It wasn't a nice smooth roll, it was more like plop and back up, okay? It's also more noisy, like literally if you're listening For that, if I'm doing it nice and smooth, like a ball, you won't hardly hear anything. Just down it up. If I'm rolling like a brick, you'll actually hear me kind of hit the floor, okay? Okay, could you tell that is a little subtle, but if you really listen, you can tell that you're also making a little bit more noise when you roll like a brick. So be really mindful of that, and also make sure that the shoulders stay down, because there's a tendency on rolling like a ball for the shoulders to creep ever higher toward the ears. So just make sure you're always being aware also of that scapular depression as you're doing this exercise. All right, have fun with it. That's called rolling like a ball.